ní kò kí ikú àti ìgbàgbé mi. Àti ròmí pé kò sí ìrètí fún mi mọ́. Torí mo jẹ̀bi gbogbo ẹ̀sùn tá a kàn mọ́ mi. Ṣùgbọ́n ilé mi jẹ́ mọ́tò mi nílò láti gbà mọ́ ti gba Jésù. Àti rà ní pẹ́tẹ́ àti sọ́gbèsè mi nípa ẹ̀jẹ̀ Jésù. Jesus, yours is the victory. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Praise the one who sets me free. Hallelujah. Death has lost its grip on me, but you have broken every chain. There's salvation in your name, Jesus Christ, my living hope. Yeah. Every situation, surrender.
Good evening, Biola. Nice to have you.
No condition is above his jurisdiction.
Nice to have you. We are waiting for others.
Of his fingers, everything lost can be restored. After all, now only because I'm walking in power, victory, my Jesus. I'm sanctified, I get immunity, my Jesus. Jesus, yours is the victory. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Praise the one who sets me free. Hallelujah. Hold on, that has lost its grip on me. Down and broken every chain. There's salvation in your name. Jesus Christ, my living hope.
All right, good evening, everyone. Nice to welcome you to this week's edition of Heart to Heart with Kolorubodi. How has been our week? How has been your day? I hope it's really been a great day. Heart to Heart is the program where we talk those sensitive things that may be troubling some of us, and you've been seeking someone that would counsel you or talk to you about it. Those are some of the things we talk about on Heart to Heart. Today we are going to be talking on something that is really very pertinent. It's something many people are going through, and many don't even know what to do about it. Depression is on the increase, frustration is rising, and so we are talking about toxic relationships and toxic marriages. Are you someone going through a toxic relationship at the moment, or you found yourself in a toxic marriage, and you think all hope is lost, and you think, oh, I've entered this, I'm stuck in it, what's the way out, what's the solution? I'll be trusting that by the time we run off tonight's edition of Heart to Heart, you would have found help, you would have found some solutions, some tips that are going to help you to know what to do while in this situation. All right, so I actually came in with a song of someone that I just fell in love with his music so much. His name is Ima, Oh My God, OMG, and the title of this song is My Living Hope. Very, very nice song. All right, so tonight let's spring into action, because time is not always our friend. And before we go far, I want to say a big birthday to two persons that are so dear to me. The first one is my immediate elder brother, Tunji Olubodi. Happy birthday, TJ. The Lord will continue to strengthen you. His hand will continue to rest upon you. Your purpose on earth you will fulfill in full in the name of the Lord Jesus. And of course, the second person also is so dear to me is my son, Itunolua. is gotten to a very remarkable age today. So Itunolu, happy birthday to you. I pray that the Lord will continue to uphold you. He will continue to smile upon you. His face will continue to shine upon you. He will be gracious unto you. You also will fulfill the plans and the purpose of God for your life. While you are here, the Lord will make it find fulfillment, and things will keep working out together for your good, even in your life from now unto your old age, in Jesus' name. So happy birthday to the two of you. All right, so let's go into today's business. Like I said, we are talking about toxic relationships, toxic marriage. Of course, all we are talking about is when relationships, when it goes unhealthy, when it becomes unhealthy, when things that begin to happen are absolutely and totally contrary to the expectation of both parties. And of course, most times, what really plays out is that, number one, I think some people just misunderstand themselves. And in the process of getting to understand themselves, things really go so bad. And in some cases, it's not even about understanding, it's about some of the habits and nature, of one of the partners. Some of those very bad habits and nature that were not dealt with when he was younger or before they got into a relationship. And those things playing out more now when they are married. And it can really get so nasty. It can really get so bitter. Of course, there have been instances that we have read in newspapers of one of the partners going to the extent of murdering the other partner. It's always an extreme case. And of course, there are always issues of batterings and beatings going on. And regardless of, both parties, when it gets to a point, they don't even care whether the children are aware of what is happening or not minding on what happens to the psyche of their children, So tonight, that's what we are going to really be discussing. And I have two guests that I want us to discuss this issue together. All right, so without wasting any other time, I'm going to bring in a friend, somebody very close to me, so dear. We've known for quite a while. So, Bimpi, I'm going to invite you to join me now. And then let's just chat generally. I'm bringing in a friend now. Good evening, everyone. Sorry, I didn't return the greeting of some of us. Hi, Wimpe.
Good evening, sir.
Nice to see your face. You're looking good.
Thank you, sir.
Well done. All right. So we are talking about toxic relationship. And one thing that is always on the top of my mind when I'm discussing any issue, it's always about how to educate the younger ones, the youth, the teenagers, those that don't even know difference between their left and their hand right now. And of course, they are growing up. And so that they will not experience what some of us have experienced or what some people have experienced. That's one of the primary reasons why we are having this chat. All right. So once again, it's very nice to have you with me today. So
it's good to be here.
Thank you. So toxic relationship. What do you want to tell me about toxic marriage or toxic relationship? Why do they go toxic?
Okay, good evening, everyone. I want to believe we can hear me. It's a privilege to be here. And actually, I thought it will only be younger ones that I'll be sharing with or that will be on the platform. But I've seen some mighty names and I was shaking. Yes. I said, oh, these experienced people are the people I'm here. Sister Toyi, good evening, ma'am. Okay. When Pastor K called me today, I felt, oh, this daddy wants to shake my waters. Anyway, I just felt for him to call me. That means there's something God knows I can share with people and can give to the younger ones. It says how to handle toxic relationships. And I want to believe we all understand when we hear the word toxic. Nobody wants to get around anything that is toxic. And in the literal explanation, toxic is anything that is poisonous. No one wants to drink a poisonous water or take a poisonous food, because we know anything poisonous can either cause illness, terminal illness, or even death. So when we talk about relationships that are toxic, that means they are relationships that can destroy. It can be temporary destruction and it can be permanent. So from some little readings I did this evening, I'll just share some, then I'll maybe as I talk, I can share some experiences. Okay, well, there's something about life. Most of us, we just feel we should hide some things. I want to tell everyone here that I've been in terrible toxic relationships, not just one. And so you should know that I want to talk from my heart, not from my head. Even though I read some things, it's not just because I read, it will just guide me, but it's talking from the heart. So I say toxic is poisonous, it's something that can cause illness, that can be harmful. And if we talk about relationships and how can things be toxic, we need to check what they can cause to our relationships. This poisonous thing, though we've not mentioned them, what can it cause? It can cause emotional illness, mental illness, spiritual illness, financial illness, psychological illness, or physical illness. I'm just dwelling on the word illness. I don't want to go into death. It's at the extreme that we can't sort it out, that it may eventually be death. It can be emotional death in any form. But toxic relationships start with something like you are not feeling well, you are feeling unhealthy, and gradually, there are some, as I said, there are some poisons that kill outrightly. There are some that is gradual. So some relationships, this toxicity is gradual. It's not in one day. And most of the time, any toxic thing in a relationship will keep making you to feel bad and make you have unpleasant feelings. And it's those people that cause toxicity in your life, they either want to take complete control of your life or be the ones that will be validating your life. And we will need to be careful in all our relationships, at work, at home, with our siblings, with whoever we call a partner, or in an engagement to get married. In every relationship, we need to build the relationship and work and put hard work so that such relationships will be fruitful and permanent. But however, we have seen that, especially nowadays, in this generation and the younger ones coming, a lot of toxicity is in the atmosphere, is in relationships. And like some people will say, the devil is really out to destroy homes. Because if relationships are bad, if they are poisonous, eventually the home front will be destroyed, and it will even affect the body of Christ. Because we in the homes, we make up at least everyone that is a Christian has a family. So we make up our own families. And then if our relationship at home, at work, with our spouse, with anyone we are engaged with is toxic, that means we can't even grow spiritually. So I will just define a toxic relationship again. It's a relationship between people who don't support each other, or they don't have mutual benefits that they gain from one another. Most times, toxic relationships are one-sided. They are full of conflicts. One person undermines the other. There is sometimes competition. Let me just quickly talk about this competition. In my, I said I had a lot of toxicity in my life. In one of them, I kept hearing, she wants to know more than I know. She wants to make more money. And I just look at it, what's all this? Where is this coming from? When you have a heart of, I want us to build, I want us to get a future, I want us to plant and then water and let things grow. And the other person is saying, oh, what's she planting? Oh, she wants to water it. I will pour the water away. I will do this. Competition. Immediately you start seeing competition in a relationship. That is a red flag. There is disrespect in toxic relationships, and there is no cohesiveness. There is no bonding. You will just find yourself struggling in such relationships. And we said that every relationship goes through up and downs, but we need to build. But if you now find that despite your hard work, despite all your effort to build, you are praying, you are saying, God, am I the one? Okay, change me. If I'm the one, let me be better. And you still keep saying that nothing is working. You have to sit down and start taking, you have to do some ticks. You have to check some things. If a relationship is consistently unpleasant and it's draining to you, and you keep feeling, no, I'm being sapped. I'm sapped emotionally. I'm sapped mentally. Even financially, there are some relationships that the other party is just out to make sure you spend all your money, and they are keeping this. All these are red flags we need to look out for. And okay, let me talk about toxic partners, because I know this program is time. Like I said, they consistently undermine the other party. Sometimes it's not intentional. Sometimes it's just in them. Some people grew with some issues, and automatically they live out what they have grown up with. Some, they have reasons to explain, okay, I'm sorry, I didn't know I did it, but it's sometimes upbringing. Some people have unloving upbringing. Some parents were not supportive to their children. Some have bullying that they've experienced in schools. Some suffer from maybe undiagnosed mental health. Like along the line, one of my counselors said, does he take drugs? I said, no. Why are you asking such? She said, because all these things you are saying is for someone that has mental issues, somebody that maybe drugs is affecting. I said, no. And for us to know, we are talking about even born-again Christians. So in toxic relationships, don't believe, okay, it's only, don't be unequally yoked with unbelievers. It's unbelievers. No. So let's know that it's not just about unbelievers. It's about every relationship. We need to be careful and watch out. And even as individuals, we need to check. Am I the one putting poison in this relationship? Is it because of my past experience? Some people have been physically abused. Some have been sexually abused. Some have been abandoned. Some parents didn't have time for their children. And when such people go into relationships, they live out their experience in a subconscious manner most of the time. Some people have gone through depression, anxiety disorders, eating disorder, bipolar disorder, and these are things we need to be careful. When you start noticing some of these things, you have to sit back and try to look as if you are looking at the two people without putting yourself, but you know you are looking at yourself and the other person, and try to check what is happening. Is this one-sidedness coming from my end, or is it from the other end? If it is something you can work on, you start looking for ways to work on it. Sometimes we need counselors. Sometimes we need to get more, especially if you are a born-again Christian, you need to seek the help of the Holy Spirit. And sometimes it's imperfect pairing. Yeah, you have someone that's if two people that need control are in a relationship, there will really be conflict. Like if somebody sarcastic is dating someone that does not know how to take jokes. Let me give an example. I was someone that developed myself to be a bit jovial, playful. And then I got a relationship that when I'm walking by, I want to tip the chin, I want to ruffle the hair, and all I hear is, she doesn't even have respect. See how she's touching my head. Whoa. And the other person feels, what? Something I did with a heart of love, and then he's being, and then gradually, if such things are not curbed, it starts building, you know, some poisons are like leaven that leaven a whole lump. They start becoming bigger. Issues become bigger, and then things may get out of hand if they are not discussed. There are some relationships the other party does not want to sit down and discuss. Okay, I'll still use that example. I kept feeling, oh, is it because I didn't have a boyfriend before I married, blah, blah, blah. Okay, is it that I don't know how to communicate? God, please help me to know how to communicate. Sometimes I have to take my jota, what I want to say, so that it won't be misinterpreted that, see how she's talking. I'll write down. And then I thought writing down and passing it for reading can help. But things we're getting was, what's this? Woman matter. Just drop aside. And such other party that is as the receiving end, even if you don't have some things that are negative in you, you too, you may start building them. And the two parties will start contributing more poison into something that is already poisonous. A person that is a people pleaser, you are nice, oh, you want to please that person. Whether you're a man, you know, what I'm saying is not just about men to women, it's two-way. It can be a lady that, okay, it can be a lady that is even being the person pouring poison in the relationship. There are some women, immediately they see their husband, oh, how are you? They already feel, why is he greeting her? What does he want with her? Or maybe she's beautiful more than me, especially people that have inferiority complex. They start thinking the other party that is a nice person, wants to please people, likes having people around, wants to have a relationship or to be to have infidelity. And then such can cause issues. And that's why all of us, we need to study our personalities. There are a lot of personality tests that are online that we can do. There's one that is called DISC test, DISC, and I see that a lot of organizations are using it to help build relationships. It helps in team building. You identify your own strengths and how you can be mature in the areas that people see as weakness. Because sometimes these things we see as weaknesses, they are things we can work on and be mature. Somebody said there is matured melancholic, there is matured sanguine. You cannot just say, I'm a sanguine. Then you just get a play. And then your partner feels, why is she disgracing me in public? There is a way we can get matured in all these areas. You can, somehow I'm just mixing things, but I want to believe we'll pick one thing or the other. Yes, as you said, warning signs for a toxic relationship. When you realize some of these things we'll just mention, I advise that we get a book or something that you can have a tick, a checklist. Okay, I'm feeling this, I'm seeing this. Let me check. Are these things happening in my relationship? By the time you are taking 1, 2, 3, there is a red flag, and you need, it's either you need counseling or you may need to run. We'll get there. Okay, I said red flags. When you are persistently unhappy in a relationship, like when I told Pastor K a long time ago, the other time is very long ago. I was 50 some weeks ago, so the other time was very long. When I told him some things, he said, Bimpe, if you had talked all those times, Those were signs that you should have shared with people, but I did not talk. I did not talk. Why?
I think you were trying to, of course, it's just natural. Hello, can you hear me, Bimpe? It's just natural. Yes. You know, we were told that no matter what's happening in your marriage, let it be between yourself and your husband. You know?
Yes.
But when things were getting out of hand, you were still trying to keep it like that. You know? Even to the point of when it was really getting so bad and making you land in hospital and everything. In fact, it was when you landed in hospital, that was the first time that some of us got to know that things were really not going well. You understand? All right. So,
yeah.
What do you do?
Like Dr. said, I was somehow trying to make it spiritual and social outlook. Okay, what will people say? Don't tell people. They will say you are destroying your relationship, as he has said. So it was even the one that told me, no, that's not what they meant. They meant marriage. But even in marriage, it gets to a stage, you need to talk. But you have just started a dating relationship. You have a right to have a mentor. So I think we should know that. You need a mentor in your relationships, especially when it's the one that should lead to marriage. Even at work, in the family, amongst you and your siblings, if you are realizing that there is a sort of negativity in your relationship at work with your siblings, you need someone that is mature to discuss with so that things will not get out of hand. Now back to relationships that should lead to marriage. We need to talk. We need to talk. Even if you are courting, in courtship, have a mentor. Like somebody asked me, didn't he have someone you could report to while you were dating? I don't know. I don't know. You know, gullibility. If the person you are in a relationship with does not have a spiritual leader or someone that you can boldly go to and say, sir, Sister Shola has been behaving like this. This has been happening. That means there's a comma somewhere. And eventually, if you get married, that's the same issue we will be having. You will never have anybody that can talk to that person. So we need, if you are in persistent unhappiness, as I was saying, you need to check it. Oh, no joy, but sadness, anger, anxiety. This one is angry today. The other one is anxious tomorrow. Every now and then, you are being careful. You are being careful. Oh, if I move, I hope you will not say, why did I raise my hand? I remember a day, a friend came to check me when I gave, a friend came to check me. And when the person was going, a male colleague from work, I shook hand with the person. He was coming. He saw us. I didn't see any beauty. When I entered, fire. She was shaking hands with a man. Whoa. I didn't know women are not supposed to shake hands with the opposite sex anyway. And that day, since that day, if you stretch your hand to me, I'll be careful to shake your hands. So when you get too careful around the person you're in a relationship with, I will keep repeating, whether a man or woman, you need to be careful. You need to check it. And another one is if you are always envious. When you're in a relationship and you now see, maybe you now see Pastor K and Sister Tony that have been always on social media saying, oh, my sweetheart, for so years, she has stayed with me. And you just say, what's wrong with them? That means you have issues in your relationship. So if you're always envious of, we are checking the red flags. If you're always envious of the next couple around you, that means there is a problem somewhere. Because you are supposed to be happy in your own relationship. If you notice changes in your own personal health, your self-esteem, like he was always telling me, 20,000 lo ma gba láyé ibi tó ma kú sí nìyẹn 20,000 yẹn ló ma gba forever in your life. And I started dropping. I was not joyful when I'm with people. You have echoes sometimes. They say faith comes by hearing. And then the negative things I hear, they just come into me and I felt, God, 20,000. maybe you will help me. I just pray you will help me out of this 20,000 curse. And I believe that it was a curse. And when you keep waiting for people to validate your life, there are issues. If your partner is always being in that position that he wants or she wants to be the one validating your life, who you are, apart from the word of God, there is problem. And sometimes some of these people, they have some clinical conditions, maybe depression, anxiety disorder, as I've said. And this, if this is happening in your relationship, one partner is like that, it will affect that relationship because that person will be taking that situation to act in that relationship, and the other party will never be happy. If you're always feeling nervous, as I have said, okay, that time, immediately I get home, I'm happy, I put on music, another singers, everything. Immediately I hear in the door, the key, coming back from home. Okay, is the sitting room set? Is it? Before I wasn't like that. Okay, you come, I'm praying, and you came in. You say, hypocrites, if you are Yoruba, I hope you understand. So that we would think she was praying. She was not praying. It's when she saw me, she heard my sound, she started praying. Whoa. Now, if I'm not praying and the same person is coming, quickly, I hide my scarf, I keep my Bible, and that is not proper. But we are even saying before marriage, some of these things happen. Okay, we want to get into a bus, and it feels, I'm the man. You can't sit by the door. You have to sit inside. You know, some of those, there are some little things that happen that make you feel uncomfortable, that if you don't take care, this person they are poisonous to your relationship. You feel you cannot talk when the person is there. You feel you cannot voice your concerns. Okay, we are trying to get a place, and we brought in artisans, electrician, and I felt, oh, since this will be the kitchen, that's where I was brought up anyway. That's why we say even your upbringing matters. I believe the kitchen, it was my mommy that would say this is where we want it. And I said, okay, since you are the one that use them. And I was saying, the electric cooker socket should be, will you shut up? Will you shut up? Who called you to talk? You cannot voice your own opinion. And I'll still repeat, it's not about the men. No, I've seen so many things that is the women, that if you have brothers and you see some relationships your brothers have, you know their wives can be controlling, or the sisters, they get engaged. So it's not just about male, it's about all of us. Now, we say we should always also look out for changes in your other relationships. I couldn't visit. If I want to visit anyone, it's like, why must you visit? What is the reason? And it even got to a state that my friends that were visiting could not come again. So why did they come? So that they'll come and teach you rubbish. These were born-again Christians. We all met in the same fellowship. So if your other relationship starts getting weak, you can't, the relations you have built over the years, you have to pack them to one side. That means your partner is a controlling type, and there are issues. Ways you spend your free time, if you always feel guilty, before I used to read my novel, now, or I used to go for evangelism, or I go with, you can't use your time freely because that person keeps wanting, you keep feeling guilty that, this person will say, I just spent the time for him or her. It's part of toxicity. You can't be your individual self anymore. You're always feeling a need or to satisfy that other person every time. Those are checklists we need to, red flags we need to take. Now, if your family members start saying, this person you are going out with, why is he not interacting with all of us when he comes here? Anything I say, I'm using my example. So that's one statement I heard that time. Immediately, he comes to my home that time before marriage. He will just keep to himself. He'll be studying all of us as if see them. Me, I didn't notice. One or two people called him. Why is it that this person does? Is it that you fought? We didn't fight. But when it doesn't relate, it doesn't interact. It's always, what is your brother doing? Your own brother, can he make it in life? If your family starts seeing that there is something wrong with your friendship, that means you have to watch out, because they will say you cannot see yourself, but others can see you. So the things you cannot see, definitely people around you, the people that love you, they will tell you the truth. And that means you have to take it seriously and check your relationship. For me, when I started to realize that I was in a terrible, unhealthy relationship, by then everything had become normal. I just know that if it comes, this will happen. Even when we are engaged, I just know that if we go anywhere, I must not talk. You must do the talking. A woman does not talk. A woman must not wear a ring. You have to be like my sister. Any brother or sister that starts telling you have to be like their father or their mother or their sister, it will end in trouble later. I had been hearing that before marriage, and I didn't take it serious. And eventually,
I hope the younger ones here, I hope they are learning. I can't even ask you question again, because in fact, the way you are rolling it out, I hope somebody is learning from all this. Our auntie she's not sharing from a book. She's using her experience to actually teach us tonight. You know, actually, being paid, there's somebody else that's supposed to share our own experience also.
Okay.
What do I do?
I just have maybe 4 statements to make. Let me just stop.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, what to do when you see these red flags? It's time you take action. If there is physical danger, I mean beating, stabbing, hitting, you need to involve the authorities. If it's emotional or mental, you have to think, can I cope with this? And can I handle this and work it out in this relationship? If you cannot, you need to run. If you start getting depressed and there is trauma one way or the other, you need medical treatment or therapeutic attention or somebody to counsel you. When you get into the root of the problem, like I wrote here, is very important. But sometimes the answer may be to walk away. I will repeat it. The answer may be to walk away. But if you know you can live with it, you live with it, and you work till you make everything work well. But if you cannot, you need to walk away. Because love is not supposed to cost you to your peace, your joy, your happiness. So you need to make a change and move if there is more negative than positive. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Bimpe. Thank you. Thank you. You know,
thank you, sir.
I don't know whether you remember, there was a time, for the first time in my life, I felt God telling me to tell somebody to walk away from their marriage. I don't know whether you can remember. I came to her and I said, God said, deliver yourself like a roe. And that day you asked me, what is a roe? I said, I don't even know what a roe is, but that was what I had in my spirit. That just deliver yourself like a roe. You know? We thank God that you are alive to tell your story. Some people are not so fortunate to be alive to actually tell us what they went through. Thank you so much, Bimpe. One thing you said we should cry out. Please, when you are in a situation that you don't understand, the person that is taking advantage of you wants you to keep quiet. Please don't keep quiet. Cry out. Cry out. And then, of course, you know, one thing I tell people, I don't know where people got the impression that if you have mentors and they were mentoring you before you got married, and once you are married, you no more need mentors. Now you just need to do it on your own. That's the wrong thing. It's wrong. You need mentors at every junction of your life. If you don't understand, if you don't know what's happening, you need to tell your mentors, we don't understand these things. Then when you feel that, no, we are going to just manage on our own, you're going to have trouble. And then there's nobody you are going to cry even to. So please, when you don't understand anything, I tell people, Don't assume in marriage. Ask questions. Tell people what you are going through, and you always find help. So, Auntie Bimpe, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
I'm still going to bring you up one of these days again to come teach us some things again. But I really appreciate you. God bless you.
Thank you.
All right, so let me excuse you, but still be with us on the program.
Other things.
You said what?
Can I leave?
Yes, you can leave.
Okay, thank you, everyone. God bless you. Bye.
Amen. Thank you. All right. Yes, I would have brought in the third person, but they wanted her to upgrade our Instagram software. So, wow, it's still saying you need to, Lady Prevail, it's still saying you need the latest version of Instagram to join. Wow. Wow, wow. Yenka, can you hear me? It says you need to upgrade your Instagram app for you to be able to come on live. Lady Prevail, you are supposed to come up, but it says you need to upgrade your Instagram. You know what we'll do? I'm going to bring you next week, Lady Prevail. But I want us to ask questions. I want us to ask, if anybody have any question or you have anything you want to add to what Auntie Bimpe has shared with us this evening, let's discuss. What have you learned? What questions do you have? I don't mind. I can actually always bring her back, even now, to handle some of our questions. So, Yenka, I will not be able to bring you up because it says you need to upgrade update your Instagram. But I'm going to bring you up next week. We are going to continue this discussion next week, and I want you to share your own experience also with people. I think that's what we are going to do. So we are not just going to make this issue to end this week. I hope Yenka is hearing me. Lady Prevail. Please, if you can hear me, make a sign. All right. So please, does anybody have any question on this matter that Auntie Bimpe has shared with us? Any question, any input? Okay, startup writer, you have few questions. I'm going to bring you up. You will ask your questions, and then would take your questions. Wow, even you two, you are unable to join. Let me see. Okay, it is easier to look opposite oneself. How can one tell when one is the toxic one? It is easier to look opposite oneself, or rather, it is easier to see maybe the things that are not right in the other person. Is that what you are trying to say? So how do you know? How do you know when you are the one that is toxic? Is that what you are trying to say? You know, Yorubas have a proverb. They say, somebody that is tough or that is wicked. All right, Yenka, I think we eventually were able to get you coming. Hello, good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Good evening, sir.
Nice to have you here.
Yes, all right, sir.
Now we can see your face. Wow. Thank God that we were able to get you here eventually. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir.
Okay. before I take that question, because of time, I want you to share your own experience with us, Yinka. Have you been in any toxic marriage or relationship before?
Okay, I think quickly I need to say a very big thank you to Madam Binkwe. You know, she said so much. Like, she has said almost everything I had in mind to say, and I am glad she did. And I just have some point for us, and I want to say thank you very much, sir, for the privilege. Like she said, anything toxic is poisonous, and anything that is poisonous, definitely we all know is harmful. It's either it's poisonous or it's harmful for us. I've been in one, and I can tell you it was not funny. But before I go into details about myself, I think I had some point because of our time. I know the time is actually going far. The time is actually against us, kind of. The first thing I discover after the whole thing is that there is need for you as a person to discover yourself. Discover yourself. Who are you? Some days ago, to people who know me and who are close to me, I talk about, okay, when we're celebrating Mother's Day, I talk about the true essence of a woman. What makes, you need to realize who you, either you're a man or a woman. Who are you? Discover yourself. What are you living for? I think there's a book like that. For what are you living, or there's a book like that. But you need to ask yourself that question. What am I living for? Discover yourself. This simple act will actually guide you in every area of life. It will help you in every form of decisions you want to make in your life. Relationship, career, whatever. When you discover who you are, it helps you and it guides you. And before I go far into that, there is, I know it's not just Christians. We don't just have Christians here. This platform is not meant for just Christians. Either you're a Christian or a Muslim or whoever you are. It's meant for everybody to benefit.
Yeah, right.
I so much believe in.
Wow, your internet. You seem to be having problem with your internet, Yinka. Hello, can you hear me? Hello? Hello, Yinka. Wow. All right. We lost her, but you can always come back. You know, one thing to answer a startup writer, nobody will say, I can't see myself. It's others that can see me. Everybody knows themselves. If you are wicked, you know. If you are nice, you know. If you are snobbish, you know. If you are the one that is insecure, you know. Every man knows themselves. It's only when we want to deceive ourselves and say, me, I don't know myself. Oh, I never even knew I was like this. Yeah, I understand that there are some things maybe you do out of impulse that you may not know, but generally as touching your nature, the generality of your nature, please, we all know ourselves. Do you understand? So please, like Lady Prevail says, maybe you need to start doing self-discovery now. You need to know yourself so that it's not when you now get married that you now discover that I'm not the romantic type. I don't want a woman to touch my head. I don't want a woman to hold my hand in the public. You don't understand all those things. So, Lady Prevail, welcome back.
Yes, thank you very much for the cutouts. Okay. I mean, sorry for the cutout rather. Okay. I talk about discovering yourself. Another thing I come to discover after, I'm talking about the aftermath of what has happened to me. I may have the time to share later, but let me talk about what I've come to discover. Now, discovering yourself. After you discover yourself, there's need for you to develop yourself. She talked about there is category of everything. I can't really pick out now. But what she meant is, what she was actually talking about is, even let's assume you realize you are this social person. There is this act of maturity in everything.
Yeah.
It is said that too much of everything is bad. So there is, you help yourself. There's need for you to develop yourself. I said learn, relearn, and unlearn. There are things you need to learn. There are things you need to relearn. And there are things about you that you will need to unlearn to move on with your life. She had mentioned so many things, and I can tell you everything she mentioned, talking about being good at touching your partner outside. Maybe you're praying inside and your partner came in and then he said, oh shit, they are true. There are things I've been through. I can tell you categorically. So when she was saying it, I am so happy, because sometimes I feel maybe I was the only one who went through all of that. So having seen someone or hearing someone sharing our own part of the story tonight really, really got me excited. I am super excited hearing all of that from her head. I went through the same part. Maybe even more deadly. I don't know how far ours was, but mine was so deadly. I can tell you that. It was just grace that saved me. So the first thing you do is discover yourself. The second thing, develop yourself. When you discover yourself, this set of people, getting to know them, when you notice anyone, one of my goddaughter was talking some days ago. It's still about discovering yourself. We're talking about relationship, and she was talking about someone who wanted her, but she was telling me the reason why she does not want the guy, or she doesn't want to go into a relationship with the guy, because she discovered herself. She said, he's not the kind of man for me. He cannot handle me. She said, we are two different humans. You know, I was so happy in my spirit hearing a young lady saying that, meaning she had come to realize she had built herself to an extent where she knew what she's worth. She understood, she understood what is going to be good for her already, what is good for her to go into and what is not for her to go into. And I would need to encourage people to don't be pressurized by anybody or by anyone. Do things according to, okay, I was talking about the scripture the other time, sorry, before the line went off.
Yeah.
Proverbs chapter 3 verse 5 and 6 says that we should trust in the Lord with all of our heart, and that we should lean not on our own understanding, that in all of our ways we should acknowledge Him, and He will direct our path. This scripture was the only thing I had in my spirit, in my head, in everything that had to be me, to become human, to be back as human, to be back to life. I had to tell myself the truth and the reason why I need to put my trust in the Lord with all of my heart, with everything I have got, withholding nothing. So if you are able to trust God for guidance, let's assume, to guide you through, the Bible just said it now. It said it will direct your path.
Yeah.
So relationship wise, before you go into anything, before you even let's even not talk about marriage now. For young ones who are still there, maybe you have a partner or you don't have anyone yet, or you're just out of a relationship, you're about to get into one. The first thing you ask yourself is, have you come to discover who you are? Do you know what you want? Do you know what you want? Do you understand what you deserve? Have you discovered your purpose in life? I listened to a video. It went rampant on Instagram, talking about a young man who went on a date with a lady, and he was asking her about her future on the first date. And the lady got angry that why would he be asking her about her job and things about her future on the first date, that it was wrong. And the young man he later came out and said, fine, that he understood himself, he knows what he wants. And the journey of 1,000 miles starts from a step. So he believed there was nothing wrong, and I believe there was nothing wrong in him asking such a question. That is because the young man had come to realize and discover himself, whereas the young lady had not. She's still going out there, she's a player, not knowing she's a player. and she will be played, and at the end of the day, she will felt hurt, because the only set of people that will come around such a person are players who will play her and dump her again. Until she gets to realize who she is, until she gets to realize her purpose here on earth, until she gets to realize her worth. Okay, now let me just dive into my own story, my personal story. I found myself in a very harmful relationship.
You know what we do? We know what you
Yes,
do.
sir. Yes, sir.
Let me, because we have just 4 minutes more now.
Oh.
You are going to share your story with us next week.
Oh, that will be fine.
So you will just go straight into the story next week. You understand?
Okay.
And then people can bring out their questions, because we have 3 minutes more now. You won't be able to go deep into it. Yeah, I really appreciate your coming. You know.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir.
Okay.
Thank you.
You know, somebody was asking the question, so how do I know whether I will later be a toxic person in my relationship? That I just want to be careful that I don't be the one that will be the toxic partner. You know, one thing I want you to know, I think that is a very honest question. One thing you need to start doing from now. Are you a friendly person? Do you have friends? Do you have friends? For the few friends you have, how do you relate with them? What did they always say about you? You understand? Some of the tests of who you are going to become in future, you get it from the point of when you have friends, and some of those things that they begin to tell you from now. When they tell you that you don't always know how to take jokes.
Yeah.
And when you make a joke now, you just go moody, and you may not talk with them for the next 2 days. You're going to have problem when you get married. That means if your wife even should make any joke or jest about anything that sounds so personal about you, you are going to flare up. You understand? So begin to note yourself. How do you relate with people? With your siblings, with your parents, with others, with people, with your neighbors. You understand? The way you are behaving now to others. If you are nasty, if you are that no matter what, if they say anything, you will always misunderstand them. Any little thing you want to fight. The point is that when you eventually get married, this nature of yours is going to begin to play out, and you want to take it off your partner. Like Bimpe kept on saying, it could be the man, it could be the woman.
Exactly, sir.
Do you understand? So begin to study yourself from now. Some of us are not friendly. Some of us don't. You tell yourself you are a private person. Well, I understand some people can be private, but being private does not mean that you are not friendly. The only person that understands that can understand you is yourself. Nobody else understands you. Nobody else can relate with you. All those things are going to become, it will become a bigger problem later in life. In fact, that's why some don't eventually get married. Because those natures would not make anybody to be able to stick them. But some of them can hide those natures, and eventually they get married, and then it becomes problems. So please begin to observe yourself from now. And that's why issue of mentorship or having somebody disciple you is very key. Somebody needs to really be able to, that will be truthful with you and tell you, oh, you are this person. You can be stingy, you can be snobbish, you can be whatever. Somebody that can tell it to your face, and that you know is only trying to tell you the truth so that you can be helped. You understand? So I think that's a question, answering the question somebody asked there.
And also, sir, I think I have a point to that one, sir.
Okay.
If you notice you are too friendly, let me use that word friendly. If you notice you are too forward, maybe sometimes being too forward is bad too. Yes. If you notice, people around you feels Kenny, ITK, you know, this I too know, you know, and she feels she's the one, or he feels he's the one that can do it, or he feels or she feels the one she's the best and all of that. If you notice some attitude of such, if you are not doing it intentionally, it is different. But if you are doing it for people to notice you, like just to get people's appraisal and all of that, you need to work on that also. It is good to be blunt. It is good to be friendly, but too much of everything is bad. So as what Daddy has said initially. So if you find yourself in these other aspects too, because at some point, it will get to a point whereby, like Madam Bigpe mentioned, that maybe you are in a gathering and you want to talk, you'll be afraid to talk. Or maybe you are feeling, your partner feels, so that is or they will believe she's the only one that knows how to talk, or they will feel is the only one that knows how to talk better, you know. You need to work on that. I'm not saying bring yourself down from that level. That is who you are. But you can tame yourself.
If it's coming from the angle of pride.
Pride, exactly. Thank you very much, sir. If it's coming from the angle of pride, and people trying to let people notice or seeking for people's appraisal, it is actually wrong, and it is something that needs to be worked on now before you get into a relationship, because it could cause a lot in your relationship. Thank you, sir.
They said wahala everywhere.
Wahala everywhere.
One of the reasons why we are doing this is that Bible says you will know the truth,
and the truth will set us free.
You know, when you have opportunity to be schooled or to be tutored or to learn some of these things, it helps. You understand? So Allah may look as if it's everywhere, but then we cannot overcome all the wahalas. You understand?
Yes.
You know, marriage or relationship itself is coming together of two persons from very different background. So it's natural for you to understand yourself. Those issues may come, but it's not even about the wahala, it's about understanding. So I think we're going to continue next week. I don't want us to just quickly rush out of this. So Prevail, please be ready to share with us next week. Thank you so much.
Sir. Thank you very much for the privilege, sir. I appreciate it.
For making this day today's edition a very worthwhile one. I really appreciate it. Please, let's meet again next Thursday by 8 p.m. and we go into the issue straight so that we can really still save time. So thank you, everyone. God bless you. Have a nice evening. I came in with the song of Emmanuel Prevail. If Instagram has not logged me out, let me play my song. You can dance with me, maybe for some 2 minutes. Thank you, everyone. I really appreciate you.
Orí mo jẹ̀bi gbogbo ẹ̀sùn tá a kàn mọ́ mi. Ṣùgbọ́n ilé mi jẹ́ ọdún mi dúró láti ọmọ tí bá Jésù dé. Àti àmì mẹ́jọ láti ṣọ́pẹ̀sì nílé ìgbà ẹ̀jẹ̀ Jésù. Jesus, yours is the victory. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Praise God, one who sets me free. Hallelujah. Prosperous things bring one thing but those who are known. Every day there's something short in your face. Jesus Christ, I live.
Bye, everyone. Nice to have you. Let's see next Thursday.